Hey guys, super excited to make this video. Just got back from picking up a South Bend 9A lathe for $100. What? So I was doing my normal routine yesterday and checking my site. I built a little website to help me search Craigslist a little easier. A little more on that at the end of the video. But about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I see a South Bend 9A lathe pop up on Craigslist, and it says $100. That can't be right. It's got to be $1,000. Somebody left the zero off. So there's a phone number and there's a Craigslist reply relayer address. So I emailed and I called, left a message. Guy calls me back in about 10 minutes. First thing I say to him is, what's wrong with it if you're selling it for $100? So I confirmed, tried to verify that he didn't fat finger 100 when he meant 1,000, and he just said, hey, I moved it 3 different times. It's kind of at a business that he works at, but it turns out it was his grandfather's lathe, and he just wants to get rid of it. So I said, when can I come get it? Can I come tonight? He said, oh, that wouldn't work, but tomorrow would work well. And I said, how early? Because I want this thing in my trunk. I do not want it to get away. And, we agreed 8 a.m. at the place he works, and made plans. He wasn't going to be there, but one of his maintenance guys was, and was going to help me load it, which was awesome. And so I couldn't sleep all night. I'm thinking, this can't happen. This isn't real. $100 for a South Bend lathe. The pictures were okay. They were a little dark. It was hard to tell, but it looked like it was all there. In the ad, it said something about extra tooling. No pictures of that. No idea of what was there. But for $100, I wasn't being picky. And so, like I said, couldn't sleep. I get up this morning, grab the wife's SUV, throw in some heavy-duty cardboard that I use to slide machinery in and out of it, and off I go. It's about an hour drive. Get there. This thing was on a homemade workbench, real heavy wood. I told him I didn't want that. I just wanted the lathe itself. So his maintenance guy or engineer or whoever it was, he had already unbolted it. He had the lathe and the pulley and motor all on a pallet. We used a forklift, put it right in the car, and then I started picking through the workbench and all the drawers. A lot of things were already in boxes. He got me a big box for some of the loose stuff. That box probably was 80 pounds of just tooling. Lathe bits, end mills. There was a bunch of drill rod, full set of index reamers, countersinks, original South Bend collets in the plastic containers. The whole collet assembly is there for the lathe. The guy who helped me load it couldn't believe the guy who sold it only wanted $100 for it. So it's a unicorn pick is what I'm calling it. Just totally unbelievable. So karma as it is, I start talking to the guy, and I got the seller's last name. Turns out I went to school with him, and we were in the same class, mechanical engineering technology at Penn State Berks campus. We were in the same class of 25 kids, and the name just struck a bell as soon as I heard it. And so I called him after the car was loaded, and I was at the closest convenience store getting some more coffee, and thanked him, let him know, for $100, I flip things. I buy and sell vices and trade up, and this thing's never leaving my garage. It was his grandfather's. Most of the tools are marked. Everything is there. So super excited about this. You you won't be able to get the grin off my face for a couple days. I had to run home, get a shower quick, and jump in the car to go to a basketball game for my daughter. And then we're going to come back and unload it. I did take all the loose stuff out and look at it, briefly. Tons of reamers, just everything and anything you would want for that lathe, including a ton of end mills, which I can use on my other. I'm converting a horizontal mill to a vertical. It's an old Rockwell. So how do I find all this stuff? And this is not quite a shameless plug yet, but I'm not ready to release this website. But I did build a website. I built it for myself, sort of like Search Tempest. It allows you to save your searches, do negatives, search by radius. So I simply put a zip code in, save your search, and then with one click, I go to my browser and I have a search saved for lathe, and it goes through and opens up new windows for all of the Craigslist sites that are in my area. And so 100-mile radius of where I'm at in Pennsylvania, it opens up New Jersey, Philadelphia, Reading, Lancaster, Allentown, and maybe South Jersey. There's a couple different ones that open up. What that allows me to do is not waste time, putting in search terms in Craigslist. I've got, for VintageVises, I've got a fairly complex search string that works really well with negatives. And I just hit that site once or twice a day, and I go through my list of searches. So I've got like Baldor electric motors. My air compressor was having an issue with a 5-horse single-phase motor. I have one for lathes. I have one set up for anvils. They tend to go even quicker than the lathes on Craigslist. But so I use this site religiously. First of all, to organize my searches and make sure that, if I really want something, I'm going to check it multiple times a day. Doesn't take long. Takes maybe a minute. I can open up all of them, depending on what kind of volume there is on those searches. I really only have to scan the top, row or two to see new stuff that pops up. The other thing I do for stuff that I'm buying regularly, especially VintageVises, I sign into my account at Craigslist, and I actually save an alert. So those alerts come through to my email. That makes it, painless as well. And you actually get notified quicker on the alerts than you will see even browsing on the site or searching on the site. Or a lot of the apps will use the RSS feed, and that RSS feed of Craigslist does not update as fast as the alerts in their built-in alert system. So, I'm not sitting on a computer all day looking at this stuff. It's painless, and it allows me to score. Now listen, a $100 lathe at South Bend 9A, it's got the quick change gearbox, it's got the depth dial on the carriage, or to, right by the headstock. Everything's there. It's got the kind of like rest, little shelf for it. Everything's there. It's gorgeous. It's tight. Once I get it off, I'll start cleaning it up and really going through it. But you're not going to find those every day. But man, when you find it, this is probably the second best pick I've ever had. My other one was a Yoast double swivel. It's 178 pounds of vise that was 20 minutes from my house. And picked it up for $400, sold it for $2,150. That was incredible. But anyway, I will be releasing that website shortly. There's no glitz or glamour about the site. It just does what I need it to do. And it's how I score some of my cool stuff. So stay tuned, and thanks.